Welcome to District 74's educational. Welcome to District 74's educational on pathways for beginners. My name is Ofani Rapetswane, and I shall be guiding you through this educational. Please note that this education will be recorded, and also that I hope that everybody will participate. This will be an interactive session. With that being said, let's get down to it. Firstly, let us define what is the purpose of this educational. 1 is to define what pathways is. 2, how to choose your path and how to choose your path, how to navigate the Toastmasters and Pathways website, how to submit a project, and of course, questions. Let's jump right into it. Let's define pathways. What is pathways? Pathways is Toastmasters educational program. It aims to develop real-world and transferable skills through pathways: communication, leadership and management, strategic planning, service to others, and public speaking, and more. Now, there are 10 sets of pathways, each of them ranging from being able to develop your communication skills to develop your leadership skills. I am a person that believes in showing, I'm a person that believes in showing and doing rather than just showing through an educational. So this will be a very, very, very interactive session. Now that we have defined what pathways is, let us go to the Pathways website so that we can discover what pathways is. Firstly, I would like to ask a question. How many of you guys have been to the Toastmasters website? Yes.
I see 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands.
4 hands. Tendai, would you mind sharing us your experience when visiting the Toastmasters website? How did you feel it? What did you think about it?
Hello, everyone. This is I'm very new Toastmaster, so it was a little bit overwhelming. So I didn't do much. I saw all that, but I didn't understand a lot of it. Yeah.
And Nobongosi, can you tell us what is your experience visiting the Toastmasters website? Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I found it very difficult to navigate as well. But luckily the leader of my group really helped me navigate. But then there's just a lot of stuff and I just wasn't sure where to go. And yeah, I found it very challenging. So I'm really excited to be on this Zoom meeting right now.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for your feedback. Yes, indeed. The Toastmasters website looks extremely overwhelming as soon as you enter it. I mean, there's so many different options about pathways, education, membership, leadership, logging in. I don't even know my username and password. Well, this educational helps to simplify that, and especially for those that are new members. So another question, How many of you guys have your login details? Okay, it seems like the majority of our participants have their login details. If you do not have, Paul, yes, you're going to say something?
I was just about to say, I have mine. I'm fine.
You have yours. Great, 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 great. If you do not have your login details, I would stress that you actually find them. This can be done in two ways. One, you can search for the very first email that you received from Toastmasters International. They would have given you your default login details on the email that you registered with. If you can't do that, then I would suggest that you actually go into login, which we're going to do now. And click on forget password. This will give you the ability to recover a new password through your email. And if you do not know which email you have signed up with, I would ask you to contact your club officer, preferably either your VPE or your VPM, and they will actually tell you which email address you use to sign up in Toastmasters. Now, as you can see, in the world of so many passwords, I save my password on my computer. So let me log in. Ooh, how many crossings do you see? We're in. So as soon as we've logged in, we will still be met with this whole information overload. However, I want you to be focused because we are here to we are here to improve our education, and our educational program is Pathways. So click on the Pathways website, on the Pathways tab. And at the beginning, if you're a new member, I would stress that you go to choose a path. You will be met with this screen, and if you have not selected your path, you will not have this option. However, you'll have access, however, you'll have the ability to continue to choose a path. You'll have navigator and also to access your path if you have already chosen your path. I will go to the third part of this, which is how to continue to path selection. Right. Now, there will be a list of information once again on what type, or rather, how would you like to access your materials. There's either the digital or the printable one. I would always go for digital because in the old program, there was a high chance that you actually complete a whole manual and then poof, you lose your manual and you're not able to register that achievement. So we will select digital resources, and then we will have two options once again. Either you have the ability to view your path option or take an assessment. If you know what you joined Toastmasters for example, you say that you wanted to be able to give slideshows, there's an option to actually go view those paths. And if I'm not mistaken, presentation mastery is one of those paths that give you the ability to practice being able to give presentations using software. Or you can actually take the assessment, which is what I strongly advise, because the assessment is actually tailored to make sure that you choose the path that you feel is correct for your goals. And we'll be taking the assessment and clicking continue. I'll be using English as my assessment and click start. Here are the topics. Select 3 topics you are interested in learning about from the list below. Now, I, being a seasoned Toastmaster, would like to improve my leadership, my speech writing, and also my negotiation abilities. Which of the following topics is most related to the personal and professional goals that brought you to Toastmasters? For me, personally, I like negotiating. Learning about will help me significantly in my personal and professional life. Negotiating. In conversation, I talk about things which are of interest to both myself and the other person. I am more of a reserved person, so I strongly agree with this opinion. I am not sure what to do with my hands when giving a speech. That is true. I normally stand like a robot. Ordinarily, I am calm and relaxed in conversations. I am indeed. Working in a team is a good opportunity to understand myself better. Yes, indeed, I strongly agree with that. Once I set an interpersonal communication goal for myself, I know the steps to achieve it. I strongly disagree. I use a wide range of behaviors, including self-disclosure, wit, to adapt to others. I agree with that. I feel relaxed when giving a speech. As a person that's been a Toastmaster for 6 years, I strongly disagree. I still have butterflies in my stomach. While speaking, I'm aware of how others are reacting to what I say. That is true. I seek out leadership opportunities. Yes, I would not be a Division I TLI coordinator if I did not. I am cautious about accepting new ideas. I strongly disagree. New ideas need to be heard. I make eye contact with the audience while presenting. Yes, I do. I'm reluctant to adopt new ways of doing things until I see them working for people around me. I show my understanding of others by reflecting my feelings back to them. Yes, indeed, I am a very empathetic person. I get involved in group discussions. Yes, hence my will. Actually, no, I disagree. I tend not to get into group discussions. I often initiate conversation with people that I don't know. Nope. That's the reason why I would like to learn how to negotiate. While giving a speech, I get nervous and forget facts I really know. Yes, that is true. I seek new ways of doing things. Yes. I prefer to be a team member rather than a team leader. I'm unsure about that. I show my involvement in conversation, both non-verbally and verbally. Yes, I was told that my body language actually sells me out most of the time. Engaging in a group discussion with people makes me nervous. I strongly agree because I'm afraid of offending another person. I'm flexible enough to adapt to other people's communication styles. That is true. I adapt my communication behavior to meet others' expectation. I'm unsure of that. I know how to respond because I am perceptive and attentive to others' behaviors. Yes, I do. I know. There you go. As you can see, 2 paths were recommended. Either persuasive influence, which helps in conflict resolution and high-level leadership, or innovative planning, which is all about proposals and managing projects. If you have not selected a path, you click on the one that you feel best suits you, and after that, you'll click on continue. It'll ask you to confirm. Now, unfortunately, I have 2 paths, and so for my next one, I'll have to purchase it. Are there any questions on how to go through navigating? On how to go through navigating the assessment? Anyone?
It's Anka speaking. Not a question, but a comment.
Yeah.
When you are choosing your path for the first time, it does take you through a kind of a shopping cart like experience, and you feel like you might get charged, but it does come up with $0 at the end of it. So don't worry if it looks like you being charged when you've already paid for your membership. Your first path is definitely included in the membership fees that you have paid.
That is true. Yes, do not be despondent, do not panic. You will not have to pay your $20. It is all inclusive in your membership fee as soon as you have joined Toastmasters. Any other questions? Mojabeng?
Hi, thank you. I have a question. When you have a dual membership, do you just get one path or do you get 2 paths?
You will get one path. Toastmasters actually was giving out 2 paths when as soon as COVID started, simply because they actually wanted to retain members. So they felt like, hey, listen here, let's give you 2 paths. Unfortunately, that promotion ended last year on March. Am I not mistaken, Anka?
Correct, but I think what Mojabeng is referring to is if you are a dual member, as in you are a member of 2 different clubs.
Oh.
So you've just joined 2 different clubs. I think
Yeah.
how it works is when you first sign up, your first path is included. So it depends to which club did you pay the sign-up fee, because then the other club, you don't have to pay the sign-up fee, you just pay the membership fee. So you would still just get one path, but you would be able to choose which club you are submitting your awards for once you start completing levels. That would be the flexibility of being a dual member.
Thank you, it's clear. Thank you, it's clear. Thanks.
All right. Yes. Unfortunately, I wanted to do that because I was aiming for my TTM. I was like, hey, listen, let me just join another club, get another path. And like the Toastmasters, like, no, you only get one path. I was disappointed. However, I still reap the benefits of Toastmasters. Any other questions? I will take that silence as No other questions? So let us go to Basecamp. Now, as soon as you have chose your path, you'll click on Pathways. Since I am a member of 2 Toastmaster clubs, this option will come up. Access your path through Basecamp, and you'll have a selection of 2 different clubs. Now, as you can see, as Anchor mentioned, that you will have the opportunity to actually go into to select either one of the clubs. I will go into my home club, which is Fontaine. It'll ask me to confirm, and I will go into Basecamp. And there you go. Welcome to Basecamp. As you can see, there is a video on how to navigate Basecamp. If you are still battling after this education, I would stress that you go watch it. It's actually quite informative and it will help you navigate it. It will ask you, you'll be met with 3 of these tabs: Pathways and Learning. That is where you'll be able to access your curriculum, or rather not your curriculum, your educational materials. So all the resources that will actually help you prepare for your project. Your speech evaluations. As soon as you start speaking, you'll need to send your evaluation form. This is where you access it. Tutorials and resources. These are further material that will actually help you in your Pathways journey. So as you can see, I have 2 membership and 2 paths. Let us go into one of them. Before I proceed, are there any questions on the home screen?
Hi, Fanny. Can I ask a question?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Can you go? Okay. So we find on the home page all the speech evaluation, and it is already arranged toward our levels at Toastmaster. Yes, that is my question.
Please, can you repeat your question, please?
Okay. So when we open the speech evaluation, and let's say my pathway is engaging humor, and I'm on level 1 pro project 1. So the system will, when I will open my account, and when I go at the home page, when I open the speech evaluation, I should see it directly there, my evaluation form related to my project.
No, I can answer that one of Fanny. Yeah, the speech evaluations page is actually a central repository of all of the speech evaluations that are in all of the pathways. So that if you are evaluating somebody at a club one day at a meeting and they haven't sent you their evaluation, but you know the name of their project, it's alphabetical here, and you can just come and look for it and then download it, and there you have your evaluation. You can also look for your own speech evaluations here, but I'm sure Ofani might get to the point where he'll show you an easier way to go in through your pathway to get the evaluation directly. But this is a central repository for all of the evaluations available in Toastmasters.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Anka. Yes, as you can note on the screen, all the projects that a Toastmaster might present are on here, and in alphabetical order. So if you're evaluating a person or yourself just a bit flustered and you don't know where to get your, and you miss the part where you're supposed to get your evaluation page, then you can come to this website. Thank you, Fasto, for the question. Any more questions? I'll take that silence as no more.
Sorry.
Yes, Paul?
Honey, maybe you haven't gone to this stage, ne? Maybe you'll get to it later. I don't know if it's proper for me to ask the question now. But anyway, let me just continue. How do you then load your whatever you have done, your speech, so that it gets to be recorded there and it's evaluated?
Yes, I'll get to that part.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So let us go into how to submit, or rather how to get started on your project. As you can see, I have completed my level 1. However, we have the ability to actually go back to a completed level and actually show others on how to actually complete, how to begin and complete a project. Let us start with the very first speech that you'll be doing, which is your icebreaker. You will click on the button which says launch.
It's important to note that at this point, if it's the first time you're accessing Pathways, a message might pop up near the top right that says that pop-ups are disabled for this page, and you might need to click on that and say allow pop-ups for this page, because the mechanism that they use to display the online learning is like a pop-up format, as you'll see.
Yes, as you can also, as Anka has said, a new tab is actually opened. So where I had the open curriculum, now it is loading my project for my icebreaker. So please accept that tab. Don't worry, it is nothing malicious. It is just the way that Toastmasters has designed their system. And there you go. Now, once again, it has told me that I have completed. So let's get right to the beginning. Navigation. You'll be greeted with the screen. Icebreaker, project 1, begin. So this is how this screen will tell you on how to navigate it. Your evaluation, return to previous page of the project. Some screens have additional buttons and navigation that will be explained in the directions tab. Advance to the next project, and also select the tab to get additional guidance or irrelevant information. You'll go through the introduction page. This is all just information on how and what you are on what your project is. Here it will give you the ability to print your resources. So as we saw before, you can actually get a hard copy of your Toastmasters project, of your Toastmasters manual. However, you can also print it for yourself, minimizing your, or rather, you can also print it for yourself, thus eliminating you having to pay for the $20. It will once again ask you to give an assessment, and this is where you should be quite vigilant, because at this page, what happens is that people will select, will start evaluating themselves, and instead of clicking next, they will click this arrow. If you click this arrow, you'll end up continuing through the assessment. However, at the end, what will happen is that you will not be able to log in your achievement. So I would stress the following, that you always look out for this area where it says back or next. And click on next, select, and click your assessment and select, select, select. After that, as soon as it has gone gray, then you're able to click on this arrow. It will once again give you more information about the competencies, about on why actually you're doing an icebreaker, to recognize the elements of a basic speech, balance preparation and spontaneity, deliver your speech, demonstrate with confidence when speaking in front of an audience, identify your communication and leadership skills, define your communication and leadership goals. With every single project, there will be a video that will explain to you what the project is about. And as you can hear, or as you can see, here is the video. After this, you'll be greeted with a form that will be able to download a resource for you. So if you're having difficulty trying to write your icebreaker, there is a specific sheet on how that can help you and guide you to write your speech. 1, by writing your speech title. 2, giving you points, asking you to write down points on different topics about yourself. Your reason for joining Toastmasters, and goals, which is optional. For every new member that gives an icebreaker speech, if you're battling, I always recommend this resource. It helps to focus your speech. And it also makes sure that you will not get lost while actually completing your icebreaker. Here's more information about how to organize your speech. Write it out, remember your outline, connect with the audience. Once again, here's where it'll ask you to go through a list of information. And then after that, you can click this arrow. It'll also give you a set of information here. I would strongly recommend that you go through them. Relax, breathe, and enjoy. More information on how to actually go about preparing for your speech. After your speech, and also give you more about evaluating yourself. Review and apply. This will list a list of topics, or rather not topics, questions that you will be able to evaluate yourself and review in your project. So after that, it will ask you to complete a project checklist. And finally, you'll be able to evaluate yourself. Here, as Anka mentioned, you'll be able to, instead of going to that website, or rather that web page where you had all your evaluation projects, you will actually be able to download your personal evaluation resource, which you will send to your evaluator. And after that, it will ask you to assess yourself afterwards. Unfortunately, I have completed my icebreaker, so I will not be able to take you through my assessment. It will say, congratulations. After that, you may close the tab. And as soon as you've completed your icebreaker, you'll receive a tick. Any questions? Questions?
Can I ask again you of Fanny?
Sure, Faso.
Okay, sure. How have you okay, you said that you've already did your icebreaking, but how have you validated? How do
you validate it? Well, in order to validate it, you would have to go through the entire, as I've showed you, you'd have to go through the entire assessment. So as after you've given a speech, you'd have to log back in to Pathways. And in fact, I should have not actually closed that tab. And evaluate yourself again. Then it will give you that screen that says congratulations. And after that, it will close automatically and it should be validated. Have I answered your question, Faisal?
Yes, you did. Thank you, Fanny.
There is one final step in the validation process, which is the VPE or the president or the VPM needs to approve the level or the project. I think it's for each level though that they need to approve.
Yes, that is true. It's just for levels. So as soon as you've done your icebreaker, you'll have other projects that you need to complete, which for level 1, you need to complete 3, or rather you need to complete 4 of the projects, which would be your evaluation and feedback and your research and presenting. For evaluation and feedback, and this is where some people actually get confused, because you do your icebreaker, and then there will be another project that pops up that says the following: first speech. Now, in your mind, you are thinking, no, man, isn't my icebreaker my first speech? However, I would prefer to think about it this way, as your icebreaker is the speech that you are supposed to get comfortable with your audience, with public speaking. As soon as you move on to your next project, which is called your first speech, this is a project where you'll be evaluated on, and also you'll be given concise feedback on how to improve your speaking capabilities and your speech craft. And after that, you also there you go. After that, you'll be asked to give a second speech on that. That second speech will be a follow-up on your first speech. So let's say the following: your evaluator asked you to use more pauses when you're speaking, instead of just rushing through. In your second speech, you would send your evaluator the first evaluation form you'd send your evaluator the first speech evaluation form, and on your second speech they'll actually check to see if you've actually improved on what they said you must improve on in your second project. Any questions on the evaluation and feedback project?
Sorry, Fanny, just the last part that you just explained, I didn't get it.
Could I summarize it quickly, Ofani, because you went into quite a bit of detail, and I think I just want to give an overview quickly. Level 1 consists of multiple speeches. There are 3 projects: the icebreaker, the evaluation and feedback project, and the researching and presenting project. Your icebreaker, as you saw, consists of 1 speech. And you get evaluated for that speech, and then you move on to your next project. Your evaluation and feedback project consists of 2 speeches and an evaluation that you give to somebody else who gives a speech. So how it works in your evaluation and feedback project is your first speech you give, it can be on any topic, any speech, and you get feedback on that speech from your evaluator. You then take that feedback and you prepare a second speech, either the same speech or a slightly different one, but you apply the feedback that you received from the first speech's evaluation. And then when you do your second speech at the next meeting, you then get evaluated again, but that evaluator has your last evaluation as a reference point, so they can see if you've actually improved on the points that you were previously evaluated on. Once you've completed both of those speeches and gotten both of those feedbacks, there's one last step of the project, which is to do an evaluation of somebody else's speech, and you get evaluated on that as well. And that completes your project 2. Project 3 is more straightforward again. It's just one speech. I hope that explains it a bit clearer.
In fact, I'm actually looking forward.
Can I ask something?
Yes, Mpho.
Yes, okay, I understand it now. Thank you for the explanation. But then let's say, for argument's sake, there isn't really anything that was said on your evaluation, you know, that you have to improve on. It was just, okay, you are fine, you're good here, you did this, it's okay. Then moving on to the next speech, what do you do?
I actually, yes, Anka?
I'm not sure what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Oh, I actually would say that this is actually a golden opportunity for yourself to actually evaluate, to actually note down what you think you could improve on. And as soon as you have noted that down, write it on the evaluation form you receive from your evaluator and communicate with your evaluator will be doing your second speech and tell them, like, listen here, I feel like I struggled with my vocal projection, but my previous evaluator didn't feel so. Could you please actually just pay attention to my vocal projection? So yeah,
I think that's a reasonable way of approaching this particular situation. But just in general, when it comes to evaluations, in a typical evaluation, you will be given at least one thing to improve upon, if not more. So it's very unusual to get such an evaluation. It was likely a very inexperienced Toastmaster who is not comfortable with giving negative criticism. So apologies for that being your experience on that speech. But usually you would have at least 1 point to improve upon. So keep that in mind on your evaluations going forward and insist on competent evaluators if you seem to be getting repeat offenders.
Okay, no, not that there was nothing commented on. I was just, you know, putting out a scenario out there because it might happen. You never know.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you never know indeed. I'm just trying to access that. If I can actually go into my, the 3 project that you do for your evaluation and feedback. It seems like it does not want to. Okay, while that loads up. Once, as Anka said, you'll be doing your research and presenting after you've given your 3 speeches. After this one, your evaluation and feedback, which is your first and second speech and your evaluation of someone else. After that, as soon as you have completed it, as soon as you have completed your research, your final speech, which is research and presenting, you will be asked to send a notification to your Vice President of Education or your President or your Secretary. They will receive a notification that, hey, Mpho has finished a level 1, and they will be able to certify it. All right.
Okay.
There you have. Yes, Mpho?
So sorry, Fanny. Just on the second speech, does it necessarily have to be a continuation of this first speech, or you can talk about any other, you know, topic does it have to flow from the fact that?
Well, that all depends on you. You can choose a totally new topic, especially since you might actually get a new evaluator. I've seen this time and time again, where a person will be evaluated by one person at the club, and then the same person will not be there to evaluate a person. So you can always change your topic.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm a very practical person. I would like to know, is there any volunteer that would actually like to go through the whole experience on selecting your path?
I have a question before we move on that. You know what I experienced with my Toastmaster International account is this happened like two months ago. Every time I logged on my account, I always have to change my password because they don't recognize my password, so they wrote wrong mail or wrong password. And then I changed it and I put the same, then I logged out, then I put the same. So this happened for always. So at the end, it was a bit frustrating for me to connect on Toastmaster on the. So how to fix that?
One, I would say, remember your password. Ask the computer to remember your password. It makes it far easier on yourself on remembering every single time. On trying to remember your password every single time. 2, choose a password that you remember. A birthday of your child or mother, something that is relatable, that you can always remember, instead of something complicated. I know with modern society, or rather with the internet, it always asks you to choose these to make a very difficult password. I would always stress that choose something more that is more relatable to you. Therefore, the chances of you forgetting your password is far less. Have I answered your question, Faisal?
Okay, I will try that, and yeah, I hope we
I have a further comment for Faisal, just in case it isn't a case. What you said, Ofani, was completely valid and relevant in order to make sure you actually remember your passwords. But if it is a case of, for some odd reason, it's not accepting your password and you are 100% sure that you are entering it correctly and you're still getting errors, then you can look at contacting technical support. There should be an email address somewhere that you'll be able to get on the Contact Us page that will be able to get you in touch with someone at Toastmasters International that could then look into that further for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, I still do not have a volunteer on how for a person to actually guide us through selecting guide us through.
Are you suggesting somebody should be on their laptop and they should log into, like, share their screen with us and we walk them through it? Is that what you're suggesting?
Sort of. We can actually use my screen. We can actually use my screen. So then what we'll do, I should share my screen again. So what I actually would like is a person just to guide us through. We can use my we can use my login detail. Well, not my login details, but we can use the presentation that I have currently on. And that person will actually guide us through the website, selecting our path, and actually completing our path. Is that clear enough, Anka?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Would you like to be our volunteer?
No, no, thank you.
I can try.
Okay, Faso. Guide me. Tell me.
Okay.
When you,
Okay.
yes, guide me.
Okay, so welcome to Toastmaster platform. When we go to pathways, okay, then choose a path.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to click on choose your path, continue to path selection. Let's wait. Okay, then you have to select your language.
I am English.
Yes, perfect. So let's continue down. Then you have to select the digital resources.
All right.
And then I would say first you can take online assessment. Again, get started.
Okay.
Then you have to choose 3 levels that you want to improve, that you want to get to know deep. So for us, will you choose or I choose?
Please, this is all you.
Okay,
Please, will you
change management. Negotiation.
Yeah.
And networking.
And networking. Right.
Then let's move on. I would say networking.
Okay.
Okay, learn about negotiation. I prefer to be a member than leader. Agree?
You agree?
No. Okay. That. Okay.
Really
Sure. I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
You're not sure what to do with your hands.
I'm sure. We are doing it together. Sounds great.
Yeah, we're doing it together.
While giving a speech, I got so nervous. I forget. Agree? And know how to respond because I'm positive to the speaker. Disagree. Show me one. Agree. Agree. Sure. Agree. Agree. Sure. Disagree. Sure. Agree. Disagree. Unsure. Agree. 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 Strongly agree. 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 Disagree. Agree. Okay.
Well done, Faso. Well done, well done, well done, well done.
Thank you, Fanny. Thank you so much.
Tell me, which path did you actually select?
For now, for you asking me for my current path?
Yes, have you selected your path before?
Yes, I did. I'm in engaging humor.
Ah, engaging humor.
Yeah, engaging humor.
I wish you all the best with that path. For myself, I felt that, or rather, I've been told that I'm a funny person. However, it is difficult to be funny when somebody tells you, be funny.
I agree.
Thank you very much, Faso. Please, can we give Faso a round of applause?
Woo-hoo.
Right, can we have another volunteer on how to navigate Basecamp? Anyone? You can raise your hand. No one. All right. So then let me ask a few questions from you guys. Tell me, if you cannot log in to your Toastmasters profile, what should you do first?
If I understood you well, like we can't have access on the Toastmaster International yet?
Yes, if you can't log onto into the Toastmasters International website, what should you do?
I think that the best way is to talk with a person who already member or involved and create a discussion with them, like what can suit me and how will it work once my account is open.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. The first port of call, if you cannot log into your Toastmasters website, is one, talk to your sponsor. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. And if you're a bit knowledgeable of the website, then you can go to forgot password and recover your password. Question number 2. When you access Basecamp, when you access Basecamp, is there a tab to access your evaluation resource? Can anybody answer that question? Can you access all the evaluation resources on Pathways?
Yes.
Yes, you can. And where would you go?
I let the others answer.
Right. Let's see what the answers in your chat. Mpendulo says, yes, Mpendulo, where would you go?
I don't quite recall the exact place, but I know I recall that you actually went through that particular section when you were sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try?
Yeah.
Is it not evaluation resource or something like that?
Yes, you go to evaluation resources. There you will find all the different evaluation resources for all the projects relating to Pathways. Thank you very much, Mpho. Next question. If you are, what is the most important thing when going through the different slides on when you're going with this? What is the most important thing to remember when you are going through the project, when you're going through the project information? Wait, no, I haven't phrased that question better. Let me just quickly go back to the website. Aha.
Sorry, funny. Maybe rephrase the question.
Yes, please can you rephrase the question?
Can you rephrase it for us, please?
Okay.
I didn't
Yes.
quite get it.
Listen, as soon as you've accessed your curriculum, right, and you click launch on your project, on the project that you want to complete, what is the most important thing, or rather, what's the most important thing to know when you refuse when you are navigating the web page? I see Nosipo says, go back and next. Do not just use the arrows on the right, and this is the arrow on the right, which is true. Thank you very much, Nosipo.
Thank you, Ofani.
Any other questions from you? Anka, would you like to ask a question for our audience?
Yeah, well, I thought I just had one comment.
Mm-hmm.
Or okay, let me pose it as a question. Are you able to save a copy of your whole project easily?
Anybody?
I think you can, even though I don't know.
So you remember where it said print your whole project? When
Yes,
you actually click on print your whole project, it opens up a PDF for you. It doesn't just automatically print it out your printer. So wherever it says print your project or anything like that, you can click on that link and it'll download a file for you that's in a PDF that you can use.
Just a remark, Anke. So we can just write on the file while on computer, as it is a print. So do we need to print it out to then have a physical document?
That's completely up to you. They are editable PDF documents, so you can keep them electronically and just fill them out by typing into them and saving them with a new name.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Remember when I said, or rather, remember when Mpho asked us, where can you upload all your information, right? And I mentioned the paths and learning your educational transcript. this is where you can go. This is what you can go to. So as soon as you click on that tab, as you can see, it'll ask you about your Basecamp profile, feedback, e-learning, and your e-portfolio. If you have received your evaluation form via PDF, what you do is you go to your e-portfolio. And as soon as you go to your e-portfolio, this is where you upload all your documents, all the evaluations that you have done and that you received. And as you can see, I have uploaded all my evaluation and feedback and research PDFs. This is very, 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 very useful in case your VP asks you, hey, listen, I need proof that you have completed your level 1. Could you just quickly show me could you just quickly send me your evaluation forms? So you'll be able to actually access them. Mistaken that I have. Do I still have this? Yeah, while it thinks about its life choices. And this was my evaluation resource. This is what the evaluator actually said about my speaking ability, or rather my speech. So for those that are always wanting to save their speech evaluations online, there is a place.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I've never seen the way to access it from this way around. So thanks for showing me that. I want to show another way that they can access it from the homepage as well. If you could kindly go back to the homepage.
Sure.
So just below where that video is, you'll see my feedback and my badges. Scroll a bit down and you'll see my documents. If you just click on the My Documents link there, I believe it opens exactly the same place.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and then I wanted to make a comment because I've had this question before in a pathways session. What if you are doing 2 different pathways? There are only 5 folders here, 1 for each level. And how are you going to know which one is for which pathway? So at the moment, there's no ability to create more folders and split things up and that sort of thing. You have to work with the folders that are there. So what I recommend is using a naming convention. For example, if you're doing presentation mastery and dynamic leadership as your pathways, prefix your evaluations with DL or PM for the pathway name before you give the project name of that evaluation when you save them.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Anka, for that comment. Another thing that I've noticed is that, just quickly going to here, is that you can actually edit your profile. On Toastmasters. And if you remember, there were actually those roles in Toastmasters that we thought have fallen away, and as in you don't get evaluated on, such as your R counter, general evaluator, grammarian, and speech evaluator. When you start moving up in your paths, there will be a screen that will actually ask you, have you been a Toastmaster? And for the very first time, I was confused. I did not know where to go. However, when I was navigating through the website, I saw my profile, my account, and I clicked on there. And as soon as I clicked on there, I scrolled down and I noticed, I can actually register the fact that I've been an R counter before. And as soon as you've ticked those off, which I have not, I've only ticked off my speech evaluator and Toastmaster. And my speech evaluator and Toastmaster projects. Then it will actually certify that you've it'll actually certify that you've completed that level. Any other comment on that?
I see there's a question in the chat from Philippa asking, I've been told that one is unable to finish the pathway without filling in forms for the roles that are part of the meetings. Please advise how the completion is done.
That's exactly where we are. So once again, let's just take a step back. If we go back to Basecamp, and you would click on this cog, which says which will give you the option to log out, or your My Account, and you would select it, and you select My Account. And as you can see, here are all the roles that you need to select. All you do is select a date when you were our counter. So I think I attended a meeting on the 5th, and I was our counter. As soon as you've selected it, please save, because if you do not save, this progress will not be noted. So yes, it will ask you to save notification. Yes, go back to homepage. Philippa, does that answer your question?
In part, yes, but I understand there's other things like all your evaluation resources must also be uploaded there. Is there anything else that you need to have managed to, to have uploaded or to have done?
I could answer this one perhaps.
Yeah.
So in certain pathways at certain levels, there are projects that include performing a role such as being the grammarian or the Toastmaster or one of those normal meeting roles. As such, in the project, there would be an evaluation resource for that. It wouldn't be from anywhere else that you get it. So it's just if it's part of your project, that it would be required. Otherwise, it's possibly just your club that's encouraging you to take on meeting roles, because it is so tough to fill them.
Okay, Philippa, thank you very much, Anka. Yeah, I was actually quickly just looking on there, and no. Yeah, I think it's just a ploy for your club just for you to take a meeting role. It's actually quite a very, 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 very sneaky way and smart way. We haven't actually explored the tutorials and resources. Before we go into the tutorials and resources tab, are there any questions or comments?
If I may ask,
Yeah.
Are we only allowed to save in the document section the evaluation forms? That's the only thing you can save, nothing else. Your speech, nothing.
You could actually save your speech.
Yeah, you could save whatever you want in there, as long as you label it so you know what it is.
Okay, you take it from, what do you call this, Word, and then, or however you have typed it in, and then you transfer it here. How do you do?
Let me just quickly check.
Perhaps just show her how to upload a file quickly when you go into My Documents, because then that would allow her to understand where to go.
All right, let me just quickly go through that. This is blocking my screen. Bye. Excuse me. So let me quickly go into my Toastmasters folder. Okay, let's upload a file. So you have two options. You can either select the file or drop. I will be dropping a folder in, and it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like it only recognizes PDFs. Yes, I just tried dropping in a document folder, and it seems like if you
just click cancel. Oh no, yeah, it can take documents.
Yes. Oh yes, you can. So Mpho, you have no need to worry. You can both upload a PDF and a doc.
You've showed the drag and dropping, but just click on select a file so that it shows her how that dialog pops up. Then you'd be able to go and find the file wherever you've saved it on your computer.
Yes. Let's quickly go through that. So here's a document. I went to my documents and click, and there you go. So you have two options. You can either click, you can actually either drag and drop, or you can select a file. Mpho, if there's your question been answered?
It's answered. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I've got a comment on the navigation of pathways in general. When you're trying to use the blue menu buttons, it can sometimes be a bit disconcerting. Go, for example, hover your mouse over paths and learning, and you see it pops down a little thing there. So you actually have to click on the thing in the menu that drops down. If you just click on paths and learning where it's blue, nothing's going to happen. So that's just a small intricacy of the websites. Even when you're trying to go back to the home page, when you hover over home, it drops down a button for home, which you then need to click.
Yes. I understand that.
Something we get used to very quickly, but when you first get there, can be quite disconcerting.
Yes. Yeah, as Anka mentioned, this thing click and drop. Any other comments or questions?
I have a question, Ofani. Like for
Yes,
the report, for the e-portfolio, how big is? Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, how many field it can contains? Like, is it big enough, or because if I decide to be a member for 10 years, can I always upload everything there?
We would need to confirm that. There's no advertised limit to it, and I haven't heard of anybody running into a limit as yet. But Pathways has only been going for 3 or 4 years, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So, Anka, do you think we can actually summarize this educational?
I think so, Fanny. Also, I don't know if you saw, I put a link in the chat. If anyone would like a one-on-one Pathways session, I'll stick it in the chat again now. Then they are welcome to click through to that Google form and fill it out and let us know what times will suit them, and we'll get in touch. But I do see we just got another question in from Pendulo.
Yes. Since I have an option to save my speeches, Does anyone else have the rights to view those folders? Actually, that is a very, 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 very good question. We never went through the my feedback option. So, to answer your question, Bendulo, those documents that you upload are private. You and only you have access to those. However, there is an option to actually ask. For example, let's say you gave a speech, right? And you just didn't want one feedback, you wanted feedback from other club members. What you can do is actually ask a person to send you this thing, ask a person to actually give you feedback. For example, I know there is a person called Karen Armour, who is a member at my club. And you could ask her, listen here, please can you evaluate my please can you evaluate my speech? It's not just your, yeah, a person will be able to, she'll be able to evaluate your feedback, not just the person that evaluated you. This is an option that Toastmasters gave simply because they wanted a person to gain more from their evaluation instead of just getting one person to evaluate that speech, or rather there's just that one evaluator to give that speech. And from that, you can actually ask Toastmasters to listen. You can actually request Toastmasters to actually decide whether only the managers will be able to see her feedback on your speech, or everyone can see it. I have not seen anybody use it. Anka, are you aware of anybody that has used this option before?
I am not. I'd be interested to go and play around and experiment with it a bit.
As you can see, it is only your club members. Wait, let me try something. Make sure that I spelled your name correctly.
Yeah, you have.
Let's see if I can find you.
I think it's only your club members.
Yeah.
Would make sense. Oh, it's a W, yeah?
No.
Nah.
Yes. Only your club members can actually.
And then it looks like there's an attachment button as well. So you could attach whatever you want them to evaluate.
Yes. You could evaluate you could actually, in fact, this seems like a fantastic option to actually get a club member to evaluate your written speech and your evaluation. So that is actually quite amazing. It's a lovely feature that Toastmasters has given. However, they have not, it has not been pushed as much as it should be from what I see.
Sorry, can I just ask another question there?
Sure.
Sorry, if you could go to that same window, and I just want to see if it's possible. So does it mean that I can also add in an audio recording instead to be evaluated as well, just in case? Because I mean, just the speech on which is written won't really make that much sense. That's my personal thinking, though.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll let you add audio or video given the size of audio and video files and limitations on their website.
Okay.
If you have an example of funny, maybe if you like a sound file that you have, we could try.
Let me try doing that. Pathways for beginners, share screen, bio. Oh, there you go, we're back there. Let me just quickly organize myself. Okay, let's see if we can actually put goodbye. I have a video file rather than audio file. Ah, I don't have a audio file. Anka, do you have an audio file readily available?
I do.
Okay. Would you like to try?
Yeah, let me get logged in and stuff, and then I'll share my screen as soon as I'm ready.
While Anka search that, can I ask a question? Fanny?
Sure.
You know, to share feedback or award the badge, when do we award the badge? Because I think that's the main role of a VPE. So when do we award the badge for our members?
When do I award a badge? As soon as you've completed your path, you will immediately be given a badge.
Okay. Do I need to go to the Central Club also, or it is or is it automatic?
It is automatic. Sorry,
No, I think he's referring to these badges under my badges.
Oh, those, yeah.
I think these are more manual. Wait, activated. It does look like it's automatic because this is my activated pathway. So once I reach level 1 and 2 and so on of it, I think I do get the badges automatically here.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's see my feedback. And okay, it's fine. And then attach. Okay, so let's go here. Okay, it seems to take an MP3 with no problem. I don't have an MP4 handy, but I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing. It may very well have a 1 meg limit. As you can see, this is under 1000 kbs, which is 1 meg. So, and it's a very short sound clip. So you'll have to just maybe experiment with that. Yeah.
Let me quickly try.
Cool, I stopped my share.
And let's see if I can find an MP4. All right, let me share again. Okay, because I actually think I saw that I was able to upload a video. Badges, feedback. There you go. So let me just quickly upload a speech. That a friend of mine gave. Oh, no, file limit is 20 megabytes.
Well, that's pretty big.
That's pretty big. So if you can compress your speech, the file that I tried to upload was had a length of 7 minutes 53 seconds. So if you can fit your speech into 5 minutes on a very low resolution, you can actually upload a speech. So
cool.
There you go, Bendulo. You can actually upload an audio file, and yeah, you can actually send it to your evaluator, or you can actually send it as a pre-evaluation. That's actually quite amazing. So we've all learned something new today. Are you happy, Bendulo?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm certainly very happy. Thank you.
Okay. So to summarize this educational, we have learned what Pathways is, how it came into existence, and we've learned how to navigate Pathways. We have learned that it is important to watch out for those arrows, rather select next instead of an arrow when the screen pops up. We have learned that you can actually upload your different material so that they are stored and they're really accessible to you online. And we have learned how to finish and complete a project. Anything else before I sign off?
Just one last reminder from my side to book a one-on-one pathways session where you can share your screen and do your assessment and choose a pathway, as well as download your first project. Click on the link in the chat.
All right. With that being said, guys, you've been an absolute pleasure. It has been quite educational, as the session is supposed to be educational, and you've been a fantastic audience, and I hope to see more of you guys at more educational sessions. Anka, would you mind closing the meeting?
Sure thing. And sorry, I'm sitting in the dark in load shedding going on here. Whoop-de-doo. But thank you so much, Ofani. I think that was a really valuable and in-depth run-through of Pathways Basecamp, getting yourself oriented on it to get started. And I do think that we had some good questions and answers going here as well. The session has been recorded and we will share it with you. So you can expect an email with a link to the recording so that you can watch it at your own leisure in future as well. Thank you all very much for making the time to be here today, and have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Fanny. Thank you, Anke.